Welcome to this installment of Creative Cabin Fever. On today's installment, we are coming from Barcelona. I know, in this day and age, imagine being able to travel. I feel kind of privileged, to be honest. I'm going to be talking to a solo artist called Elle León. Elle, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Elle. I'm from Kildare. I guess I grew up in Kildare and I'm based in Barcelona here, locked up in a little apartment, a little city apartment. So it's nice to be getting garden vibes at the moment. I'm ready to release my first EP soon. I'd say I'll be dropping my first single at the end of this month if all goes well. And I'm really happy to be talking to you, Becca. Technically, this will be my first interview, like proper chats. So I'm excited. This is my first time I've done like a solo project, and I put a lot of heart and soul into it. And there we go. The title of my EP actually is Heart to Heart. So it's kind of on a reflective vibe, giving yourself a good talking to. Would be a good theme of the record, I would say.
Yeah, and I felt that. Like, I felt a lot of growth and a lot of resonance from your songs that you sent to me. I loved your video. You're as cute as a button, so I can't wait for the world to see you as adorable as you are. And that was part of why I agreed to do the interview, because it really depends on, like, a lot of people are contacting me and I'm not going to say yes to everyone because I have to conserve my energy too. So anyone who's kind of positive and understands where I'm coming from with the Creative Cabin Fever vibe is pretty much who I'm going to be targeting, because the whole idea is to talk about this moment in time and try to perceive the positive, and I could really feel that off you. So, like, obviously things didn't go to plan with your EP, so we're here, we're rebranding, we're starting over, you know what I mean? How are you finding lockdown? Yeah, we all are.
How am I finding lockdown, like creatively or like with plans?
In general. So we'll start with general and then we'll move the way down.
Okay, let's go general, right? General. I have more time to cook, which is great. More time to listen to music. And as I just said to you, like listening to interviews of artists I really like as well. Just to have, to feel a more human side of music and just the soul that brings us the songs that we like and things like that. That's something very important to me. I like cozy vibes. I do. I've missed home, I guess. But I think I live with 3 other people and we're all creative actually. Well, we all play guitar. I think one of them is like a visual designer. My boyfriend is a musician as well, Albert Lax. And our other roommate plays guitar all the time and plays lots of Latino kind of songs, which is a lot of fun. And we've more time to like take care of each other. I think it's something very necessary for, well, obviously given the circumstances, but for a lot of chaotic creative minds, I think it might be something that has done us good. And that obviously is very hard in other aspects. There is that kind of pressure, I guess, just for me, how I am at the start anyway. Now not so much. It was like, God, where do I put my energy right now, because I was supposed to release this and I'm going to do it because it was thought that way. It's not going to be something that I release with a quarantine theme or anything like that. The songs, they don't have a kind of twist on them, really. The songs are very personal. They're, I kind of sing to my own spirit, I guess. I like using my songs kind of to give myself a good talking to, yeah. And, if that resonates with other people, that's great. It's not anything, especially like being a singer-songwriter. I do think there might be like 2 types or more, probably more. I'm going to generalize, but with singer-songwriters, there's either kind of, the writer that observes and writes stories and things like that. And we all do that a little bit. Like, it's very hard not to put yourself in it. But I will say, at least with this first record anyway, it's damn 100% personal. You can you can put any spin on it that you like. but you're talking about yourself all of the time, or it's coming from some sort of input. So if there is, with lockdown, it was like, all right, there's going to be, I can make a new album now, or, but being realistic, I don't know, I don't think you can change how you are or how you create just because you have free time. You can work on things, which is nice. I've learned how to record myself. I didn't know how to do that at all because my computer is shite, and it is holding up really well right now, so thanks Lil HP. So I've been learning how to record myself. That's something I didn't know how to do because I've needed the time, and I'm pretty much a potato with technology. Like I would write a song like with my notebook and my guitar, and nowadays because it's useful like to record and build while you're recording as well. That's not something I have a lot of experience with yet, at least not with someone on the computer and me doing the music, that kind of thing, and having an input. So yeah, there I go. It was with that, it was like, where do I put my energy? All in this that is done and rethinking how I bring it out. Or then there's that kind of, well, I need to do so much stuff because I have free time, and obviously like many artists, like you've a billion other songs that could go places as well, and it's like, where do I put my energy now? But it's very easy to kind of just want to turn the page and start something completely new, but this isn't even out in the world yet. So that's kind of been my battle. Well, it's not a battle, it's something nice. Like, it's not like I'm carrying this weight or anything like that, but I think it's very important to be real, and especially in interviews as well. I find it comforting, like listening to artists just being real with, well, this is, I'm struggling with this, or creatively, like that might change over the years, but what comes to me to write a song is just not whenever I'm sad or whenever something extravagant happens. It's really just when you feel in intensely, and that can be any kind of mood. So that hasn't really changed. It's not like I think I write songs the exact same way as before, and I've been comforting myself, being like, okay, that's good. I think I'm getting to know myself more creatively in a way. That was it.
Yeah, no, that was a beautiful answer, and you actually gave me some nuggets of wisdom I hadn't even really
All right, good.
before. Yeah, no, it's amazing. Every interview, I'm discovering something new about myself, and like the way I think about things changes on a constant. I hadn't considered the hard struggle with the possibility of being able to birth new material, but not having been able to actually release to the wild what was already there.
Yeah. And I'm trying, I hope, or my idea is just to release this as it is on its own, like, not, I don't want to put any kind of spin on it. I'm lucky enough to, like, the video I showed you that will be released with the song, the first single, I did that before. I was lucky to get that done beforehand, as in I want this to be at the same time. There's a lot of music coming out as well, but I don't want to put any kind of quarantine spin on it, because it's something that was done before. And the beauty of music is that, we're always going to have those favorite songs that we listen to whenever. Like, my mom would put on the Carpenters a lot of the time in the kitchen, and I just hear a catchy melody, and then you hear those songs later on, and you realize how, I don't know, how sad they are or how deep they are. Or we're all more sensitive now, and I like that. Let's stay sensitive. That's great. It's a superpower. It's not something to be ashamed of. And I hope that's a positive thing that comes out of this. That's just me, but I hope that's a positive thing.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. You should be able to just be completely yourself on what you're doing. And I think that's a really positive outlook to have, and it doesn't really change anything. Now, you already told me that you're enjoying cooking and stuff like that. So that kind of covers the question about what are you discovering about yourself. One of the other things I like to cover in these interviews is, what's your creative jam? Who should I be listening to?
Oh, God. Well, things I'm listening to now, do you mean like people around here where I'm from, or?
I asked the question. How you interpret it is completely up to you.
Savage. Well, I'm going to say at the moment, I don't know if you know Laura Marling. She she released an album actually on my birthday. The Ledge, the absolute Ledge. Oh, that made like the whole quarantine experience for me. It's called her new album is called Song for Our Daughter, and I just love how she writes. I love her spirit. She's someone that I've always come back to. I'd say I started listening to her when I was like 15, and she's not like I'm 25, she's 30. I mean, like, there's not a huge difference at all, but that she just speaks, it's someone just that a little bit older than you, and I love how she sings about womanhood, and I wouldn't have always took her music as a big woman powerhouse kind of thing, but it's really divinely feminine and just beautiful. I love how she writes. I love everything about her, to be honest. I think she's just mad, and I love like her guitar tunings. Like she experiments around, and she also has been doing guitar tutorials on Instagram Live, and it's like it came out of nowhere, because that has really made like my mood boost a lot of the days, to be honest, because she's someone that on social media, she's not really out there. Like, she came into the world before everything was run by social media that much. She was releasing records by the time she was 16, like, and she's never really put herself out there that much on it. And out of nowhere, it's like, right, I'm teaching people how to play my songs on the guitar, which is just so cool. It's not just live concerts the whole time for people to eat up, because we've loads of them, but I just really like that. That's her. And then there's a band from here called Ljubljana and the Sea Wolf that are mental musicians. So that's Ljubljana and the Sea Wolf. I have been to a lot of their gigs. Their music is to say what kind of sound. It's like you go to their gigs and it's like it's just something. It's like they're just grabbing you and they're shaking you. Oh, it's saying my internet connection is it's gone.
Sorry about that.
All right. But yeah, I would definitely recommend them, because I think they've a first album that's more like jazzy, and I think it's recorded live as well, and you can really get that. They're a great band to listen to. Like, they're just phenomenal. I love them. What else am I listening to? I'm listening to a lot of Simon and Garfunkel, like just things that like my grandparents would listen to, and the Beatles, like getting stuck into Abbey Road, like just hitting it hard with the classics, I guess. Like, I can't say no to it. I really can't. Right now, we're watching live concerts, things like that. Lucky enough to have a projector. It's not mine, but it's one of the roommates, and we put like concerts up in the projector, and it's I feel lucky about that.
I had a mini music festival in my house. I set up a tent, and me and my son, we ordered takeaway, and we had it in our tent, and we watched all my favorite acts live on YouTube, because at the time there wasn't really that many live gigs out there. So I was like, I know all the music festivals are going to be cancelled, and I know I won't be able to take them this year, because I took them last year to All Together Now and I loved it. But this year I knew I wasn't going to be able to take him, and he loves music so much. Oh my God, he's just a joy to be around. Like, music is his life. He's the same as me. Like, he's obsessed with the same bands as me, but sometimes he'll pick up these gems I don't know nothing about. Like, for instance,
really?
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, I think his dad, like, because me and his dad aren't together, but I think his dad started playing the chats in the house. And now all he does is talk about the chats, because they're from Australia and they have Australian accents, and that's why they talk funny. And they love pub grub, and they always be on Smoko. And it's just the cutest thing ever. And he goes around blaring the chats. Like, for his birthday, I got him a chats t-shirt made. He also loves Thumper. So I asked the lads from Thumper, could I get one of their t-shirts made? So he has this little Thumper t-shirt, and he's just the cutest.
Thinks it's the biz, like, probably is the biz going.
We were baking cake yesterday. I know I'm completely off topic. It doesn't matter. We're baking cake yesterday, and he was like, can we listen to Thumper, because they're my favourite?
Cooking and jamming as well at the same time, as a multitask as well. That's a joy. And kids are the best to be around as well, if you can. If you're lucky to have kind of contact with kids. I don't have a child now. I can only imagine. I'd say there are difficult parts of having a child during this as well. But I teach English on the side as well, and I'm lucky enough. Well, it's a bit of a mini routine that I have with myself every day, aside from, oh, I need to, get motivated with my creative side and all of that, and get the juices flowing. So I don't know. I love kids in general. I think they're magic. Like, I think it's, and that I would say lyrically as well. At least it's what I have in mind. I don't know if, I think the beauty of like how you receive lyrics as well. Like, everyone's going to take their own little look at it, But I say with Heart to Hearts, like, I was kind of speaking a lot to like my inner child and referring to it as well. It's a nice feeling. It's a nice place to go if you can, and we don't often really go there unless it is, or at least I don't, just speaking for myself, like, unless it is like, listen to that artist that you listened to when you were going through XYZ, or hearing lyrics in a different way, or just watching movies, if you're a musician or not. But I think if you can revisit those places, that's really, really nice and can kind of heal as well. So I think kids are the bomb. Like, I think if a kid like gives you a compliment, even musically or whatever, like, oh, I treasure that so much. Like, I really do. Actually, in the music video that I'll release, the child that features in it is one of my students as well. One of my English students. She's the boss. She's the boss.
Yeah, that's really precious. And you're right, people don't really journey to their inner child nearly as much as they should be. Like, there's this lost freedom because we're societally kind of bound, but actually visiting that inner child and having less inhibitions is probably the very driving force that gets rid of the fear. Because when you're a child, you're fearless. You're so fearless. Nothing, like, he has no idea that climbing a ladder to go on the oil tank is dangerous. Like,
that's just something I want to do. Like, it appeals to me. Or
yeah.
It's important to kind of, I don't know, with the whole like singer-songwriter-y kind of vibe, it's like, does that kind of put me into a box of sensitive and intense? Which, yes, but I also like, I like to take the piss out of myself a little bit, because that's healthy as well. Like, just having more play involved, at least if it's only for me, at least if it's only how I kind of planned ideas, that helps me as well. Just to not, because again, if you're singing about your own experiences and stuff like that, and that's just how I am as well. Like, I don't want to be singing about dark stuff all the time. Like, I'd rather kind of just take the piss out of it a little bit, make light out of things, because that just helps. That just always helps.
Yeah, I find humor really, really, really healing. Like, I'm actually a stand-up comedian, and I was going through a really, really hard time when I found comedy, and it literally changed my life. Having an outlet that allowed me to make other people laugh, not just be funny. Having an outlet that actually had a healing sensation on other people was amazing, because
so healthy.
all my life I've just been pushing other people. That's just what I've ever done. And for once I had this creative outlet that allowed me to express how I felt. So it wasn't music, it was comedy, but it was a start.
Oh yeah, like, it's just a good belly laughs. Like, you need a good belly laugh during this. Like, you really do. Like, just laugh at stupid stuff. Like, that's so good. It's like, it's nutritious, I need humor as well. I do, and I would say a lot of like my friends would kind of mess with me as well in my gigs. And I don't know if that's because I do my gigs in like a different language. Because I speak fluent Spanish, but when I play gigs, I've started speaking to the audience more in English, because it kind of just naturally comes out of me. I'm singing in English and all of that, and they kind of, when I started doing that, because it just kind of happened naturally. Before then, I was kind of thinking, oh, what do I say between songs? But then as you get the ball rolling, I think any artist, whether you're doing it in a different language or not, as you get the ball rolling, you kind of know, is it necessary to speak here? Do I feel like it? And just be more and more yourself. And you always need a good joke for tuning. Definitely, I do, because I get nervous and I get like twiddly fingers, or I start, like, I do stupid things. Like, that's like a part of my gig though. So I know, right, this is likely to happen, and I'll have some sort of gem locked away, and it'll be considered more funny because I'm foreign over here. So that's like a card I like to play. Definitely.
No, there is a humor in being able to mess in different languages as well. I do it often myself. It's part of one of my sketches. Actually, I have this whole thing called the Bexicon, where I make up words and I use the fact that I interchange words between English and French. So I understand that so well. That makes so much sense to me. Um, One of the first questions I like to ask people is, what was the first song you fell in love with? Because to me, that seems to be the gateway drug into the rock and roll industry. And how you
Wow.
interpret that question, again, it depends, because some people see their lives as different chapters. Some people see it as the first song that they literally fell in love with as a child. I really don't mind how you want to take it.
Okay, on the top of my head, just because it's something recent, probably because I was lucky enough to do my first presentation gig, and I did a cover, I guess. I wasn't really going to do a cover, but I was lucky enough to do this gig, and it was the only gig we were able to do with the band. And my mom came over, and my mom has never been over to see me much, or I think they came over a long time ago when I first moved over here, and it was very brief. But my mom got her way over here. It was a birthday present, and I decided a few days before to do a cover of I think it's the song that appears in Dumbo, Baby Mine. Baby mine, don't you cry, baby mine, dry your eyes. It's lovely. And then, but my mom always sang that to all of us. We're three sisters, and she mixes it with another song of Bette Midler called The Story of Love. It's like, you gotta live a little, love a little, and let your poor heart break a little. Well, that's probably the first, there are two songs, but my mom puts it into, because it's the same key or whatever. I know those songs as one, and that's probably the first song I ever heard. And I knew this was like, this is really pulling at the heartstrings here, help. But I was like, I just wanted to do it for my mom. Like, it was a really nice feeling, like I just want to sing to my mom, like with my guitar, like, and I never got to do that, so it was really special. And that's probably the first song I ever heard in my life, and that's, you know, my mom's take on those two songs. And so that's called Baby Mine and The Story of Love, and just simple. And I love love songs, like who doesn't? And I think nowadays it might it almost takes more guts to kind of just sing about love, you know, because it's easier to have a rant and it's easier to be heartbroken and things like that. But all love songs are good, and they take guts too. They take guts to, like, you know, talk about the beauty of love and all of that, you know. That's what keeps us going. I would say other songs I fell in love with, they would have been the first songs in when I was very, very small. And then just so much, to be honest. I love I'm listening to a lot of the Kinks lately. There's a song called Strangers, that's very beautiful as well. Like, when the lyrics are like, strangers on this road we are on, we are not two, we are one. And beautiful, beautiful song. There's a lot of good versions of that song as well. It's beautiful. They're a very good band. I never paid that much attention to them, but that's a song that definitely drew me in as well. So many, Jesus, what a question. Great question, though. Great.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you so much for sharing that rendition that you and your mom have. That's just so cool. My mom and I used to have this tradition when I was small. Like, my mom can't sing, and I probably can't sing either. But
that's bullshit. Everyone can sing.
no, well, yeah, you can actually. It's just about training.
Yeah.
I just gave up on it. You're right. No, I can sing, and I'm gonna work on that, but that's a different project. My mom used to sing to me when she was in the shower to let me know what she was doing, so I wouldn't be scared. So, like, she'd just sing to me random things she was doing in the house, or if I was in the shower, I would sing what I was doing, and that's kind of how we communicated for a really long time. Just this idea of having song around the house, and that's what that just reminded me of, and I hadn't thought about it in so long. Yeah, it's mad.
Mothers are the best.
Moms are the best.
Yeah, they are. And they're with you when you move away. When you move away as well. Definitely.
I haven't lived in the same country as my parents since I was 11 years old.
Oh, wow. Wow. God. No, when did I move away first? When I was like 18, but then I was back for like a year. So now it's been like, yeah, it's just gone 4 years. And I go back a lot more than I used to, because I really wanted to play to Irish audiences, and that's something that I started doing this year, or like November of last year, with Dillstock in Kilcullen. My hometown is it's like a local festival in O'Connell's Club in Kilcullen, Oh, my computer's acting up. In Kilcullen. So it was literally my hometown that I played with, and that's run in memory of Dylan Reynolds, one of my best friend's brother who passed away because of leukemia. But he was a huge, huge music fan, and her parents, or well, I think her mom, her auntie, they're all behind it, and they put on a great show every year, and that's how I met like Blitzen Village and Cry in the Grey Brag and other local artists, and that was really nice for it to be. It was so local, but it was foreign to me. Like, it was my hometown, but it was foreign to me as an artist, and I was buzzing. Oh my god, I had the best night, and I enjoyed all of the other gigs as well. But yeah, I go home a lot more now. We'll see with this. My idea was to come home for some time during the summer, because summer here is just, it is manic. Like, but again, we will see this year, but there's tourists everywhere, and it's like the heat is sticky. Like, it's intense. But yeah, my idea was to come home and have more of a base at home, because I just, like, you move away and you realize how great Irish people are. I mean, people say it for a reason. At the end of the day, and again, it's kind of like a free pass to like get along with everyone. You tell people you're Irish and they're like, you're great, you're in. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but that exists.
Yeah, no, Ireland is very special. Like, I was always meant to move back to either France or Switzerland, and every time I tried, it just didn't happen. So I ended up staying, but I'm really happy I stayed. Like,
Yeah,
it's different. Like, I do miss lots of people in Switzerland, and I do miss lots of people in Italy and in France, and especially right now, I just miss a lot of people. Full stop, really, to be honest. But yeah. I don't want to be anywhere else. I don't even want to be outside of Waterford. I love it. Like, it's my jam. It's my
yeah.
place. It's where I belong.
That's why
Yeah.
I don't really know that yet, and especially like when you're an artist, I suppose, depending on the kind of artist you are, but I imagine the general kind of objective in some way is, to bring your stuff to as many audiences as possible. And obviously, well, I've been based here for a while, but really the project is only up and running the past year, when I was just performing live with just Bandcamp demos, but if it's a language thing, and it's just, I love, like, we can always complain, but I think music is really well received in Ireland. I don't live there now, and I know the grass is always greener and all of this, but I mean, the times I've been home, and I've been home with people from here as well, and like, they see that, people see that in the people. And I think even just a person like sitting there on their own with a guitar is kind of really respected at home. Maybe not always, I don't know, but that's the kind of feeling I get. You say you're a musician and it's like, cool, all good on you, that kind of, most of the time, I think in my experience anyway, it's something cool, because it is, like, why wouldn't it be? Whereas here, and it's a cultural thing, like, audiences are different. There's a lot of talent everywhere, that's not a problem. But yeah, I think music came, like, the scene of live music and rock music arrived a lot later to Spain as well, with all the Franco and all of that going on. So I think that all has a part to play in that. But yeah, Irish audiences, I miss Irish audiences, and I was lucky enough to do that gig in Workman's as well. That was February. That was literally only a few weeks before all of this. Like, it was the gig in Workman's with Lipton Village and Barley and the Great Prague, and then it was my presentation gig here with the band, and literally within the space of whatever, like, then that was all bye. But I do feel lucky to have those good memories. Like, I got to go home and do a gig. I got to do something really nice here. So that's very thankful about that, because I'd rather kind of stay in that mindset rather than have everything cancelled. You know what I mean? That would have been horrible. And I'd say there's a lot of people that everything just got turned absolutely terribly for them. So.
Yeah, look, we're all in it. Like, every single one of us. It's not, nobody has had nothing be cancelled. Like, nobody has had life-altering, changing events happen. But yeah, look, here we are, still here.
Here, look, like, no one's specifically hard done by, like.
Nope. You obviously mentioned Lipton Village, and obviously Claire is how I got to get in contact with you, I suppose, or how you got to get in contact with me. One of the questions I asked her in her interview, which will probably be our last question,
Okay.
how do you feel about being a woman in the music industry?
Um, a lot of things, things that I thought that I wouldn't think, things that starting out I thought, sure, why do I have to think about that? Or I would say, like, and it's an energetic thing. I would say that there's so like, why wouldn't there be, like, there's so many women that are involved in music in some way that are amazing and have amazing ideas and really inspire me, musicians or non-musicians. Things that, not a struggle, it's just things that I perceive and things that I'm kind of aware about, is I get the feeling that maybe we're not taken as seriously. And I always thought, I'm not going to think that, for whatever reason. I just thought, well, you know, you're born a woman, and you know, most of us, and lucky that it's that way, that we don't think that that's a limitation, you know. And I didn't think I would come to think it, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I do get a kind of feeling that maybe we're not taken as seriously sometimes, or that kind of feeling with, you're just asked to do something, you're just asked to participate because, oh, you'll be a woman in participating in this, you know, you'll be filling out that profile. And obviously, like, there's a lack of, say, producers that are women, and like sound technicians and things like that, at least that I've come in contact with. Which would be nice. It would be nice, just because I feel like the newer friends that I make, and nearly all of the new friends that I make, are via music, because that's the scene around. I go to gigs a lot when there were gigs, and yeah, they just happen to be male all of the time, and that was brought to my attention more when I started making more female friends. And I'd say, like, there's a girl here, her name's Patricia Seward, and she makes like folky music as well, and we put on a few gigs together, and it's really nice because I just had a really nice connection with her. Her music is very different, but she's very guitar based, like she makes her guitar sing, you know, and her stories are like on top of that. And I would be on a different side of that. I would be like, my voice is just kind of flying around, and then I kind of decorate the guitar around that. So I think she opened up my gig for me in Barcelona, that last one, and I've been really lucky to have that kind of friend. And we all get that kind of feeling, and with Claire as well, obviously. And that was really special to me as well, especially someone from home, and someone as driven as she is. And like, I really appreciate that. When that does happen, I realize how much I miss that in life, and just in the music world, I guess. Like, yeah, I would say that. And I do think sometimes, like, comments like, nothing too terrible, really. It's not a terrible comment, it depends on how you want to look at it, but I feel like we might be put in the same musical category simply for being a female solo artist. Now, I don't know, like, just not all female singer-songwriters sound the same. It's like, oh, you like her, or you're like her, or whatever. I'm like, that doesn't happen that often, but when it does happen, I'm like, did you listen to anything? Well, I'll take it, because I listen to a lot of music, and most of the people, but I just like, where are you pulling that from? But that could be got to do with taste as well. Like, but that is something I think about, as in, is being a female solo artist, like, it's not a musical genre, you know.
Oh, and do you know what? Like, it's since I started asking the question that I realized it's a question men never have to ask themselves. They never have to ask themselves, what's it like to be a man in the music industry? I just feel taking up space as a woman is this thing that everyone just takes it for granted. Like, and I'm a huge advocate for male rights, okay? Like, massive. Like, I go to unbelievable lengths because I believe men are forgotten in society all of the time, right? Like, it's not even important. But like, to me, it's just so bizarre that in a world that's so male dominated, no one takes a chance to consider how difficult it is, or how different it is, or how maybe they should I don't know. It's not like you don't want to be treated differently. You want to be treated the same. This is the point. You want to be treated the same. This is the point. Like
it just goes to that extent, really. Like, or things like there would be a lot of festivals or mini concerts and events set up just for primarily like female talent, which at the start as well, I didn't really know how I felt. My instinct was kind of, that's a bit unfortunate that has to exist in a way. I don't know, I don't see it as a bad thing. I'm like, great, but I don't know, it just makes you think. It's just stuff that makes you think. And I think that's something that's going to be with us a long time. I can't remember the name of the page. If I think of it, I'll let you know. But there's some Instagram page. I think it was Instagram or it was a blog or something. And they were posting just little gems, little facts of famous, say, sound engineers like back in the 60s that were women, and they worked on really famous records, like, or guitarists or session musicians that played on really, really famous classic records that no one, they just don't get seen, or like even today, like I was watching was it Simon and Garfunkel in Central Park, and I didn't get a look at all of the musicians now. If anyone's seen that concert, they're like right at the back of them, or the two of them, and I was like, geez, but there you go, like, is there a woman there? No, like, which that could just happen by chance. But yeah, there's loads of things. The more you get into it, the more
the way I see it, like the way I see it, the utter way that just came into my head right now is like, the fact of the matter is we're very complementary beings, and that complementation, that ability to actually make each other whole and have completely different set of skills is actually a beautiful thing if it's embraced. When it's separated, it's always a bit iffy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose
like I would love to just have, not go out of my way to look for, like, I don't know, whatever I do next after this record, I don't really know. I have songs, but I don't really know. I kind of want to relax myself and see where they go, but definitely lyrically, it's kind of coming out. Like, a lot of the time you don't really, it's like when it comes out of you, like, Jesus, I'm referring to this, aren't I? Like, or aren't I? I teach English. Well, I do feel like lyrically, it's something I'm becoming more aware with in my life, so it kind of comes out, and or like as an energetic kind of thing, like just being involved with women that run events, women that want to talk about music, just that, it as an energetic thing, just to bring things into perfect harmony. Like, I just like that idea. Like, I don't know, to produce with the woman, like, it would be a different kind of sensibility, obviously, as well. I'd be super interested if that were to come about as well. Why not? Like, that would be really beautiful.
yeah, and that's been a perfectly beautiful conversation. I want to wish you all the best with this upcoming launch of yours, because I'm genuinely very excited, and it's been an absolute pleasure to have this conversation with you and get to discover you better. Hopefully anyone that knows you has also learned something about you, and this will help people understand your specific magic a little bit better. Elle, is there anything you'd like to add to the interview before I let you go?
Be nice to yourselves. Everyone should just, make an effort, make a nice little effort at themselves. And if there are other, like, artists listening and stuff, just hope everyone's not putting too much pressure to, like, be crazy productive. Just feel things out naturally. And get to know yourself creatively in a nice, non-rushed way.
That's perfect. It's so important to actually be kind to yourself and take a moment. And it's also really important to introspect and ask these questions and just kind of think about them even. I'm even asking these questions, especially the female one, because it's something that I'm pondering upon. So I'm very interested on hearing other people's interest. If there's any artist out there that has watched this interview and is interested, first thing I'd ask you to do is go to the YouTube channel or the Facebook for Viking Promotions and watch the rest of the interviews. And if they sing to you, or if there's something you want to do, then reach out to me, because I want to hear from you guys as much as I want you to watch what's going on, because I really, really believe this is about showing everyone their magic. So I'm going to stop recording.